Hey, this is Brock Lemires, and in this video I'm going to walk through the Lab 2 activities, getting experience using the Linux programming environment. Okay, so this lab will be the first lab you're going to do in the course, and I want to walk through every step with you just because this is going to be kind of the procedure you use going forward on every single lab. Okay, so you're going to have a lab handout every lab that'll explain kind of what you're going to do, and it always starts off with an objective. So what are you trying to accomplish with this lab? In this lab, this is just to give you experience programming in the Linux computer environment. Now, at this point, we have not covered any of the syntax in the C programming language, so you're just me going through the procedures here, going through the acts without knowing how to program, but that's fine because I'm going to give you the code that you're going to enter. And this is just a simple hello world program. So you're just going to echo back, hello world, my name is Brock Lemires, or my name is whatever, to the shell. Okay, but in every lab, it's going to kind of look like this. You're going to get exposure, experience navigating folders and files in Windows. You're going to create a new folder in Windows. You're going to SSH over into the CSCI 109 server where you develop your program. You got to navigate the Linux folders, file structures. You got to create a new folder in Linux, create a new program file in Linux using Vim, enter your C code, compile it using GCC, execute it, make sure it works, and then you got to secure copy it back to Windows. Okay, so that procedure is going to be something common to every lab we do. Okay, another thing that's good to look at before you start a lab is what are the deliverables for what you're doing. In this one, you're going to have a screenshot of your program output in the Linux shell. So when you run your program, it'll echo it back to the screen. And you got to show that it worked. And so you'll take a little screenshot and save it as a JPEG. I always give you the naming convention that I want you to use, because it makes it a lot easier to track files. So what I want for this one is first name, last name, underscore lab2.jpg. So Brock Lemires underscore lab2.jpg. Don't give me a bitmap or a PNG, just give me JPEG, okay? And then you're gonna upload, of course, your source code, which is going to be called hello underscore world.c. And that will be your source code that you secure copy back to Windows. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to have lab work and demonstration. This is going to be all the steps you're going to do. All right. So the first thing we're going to do in this lab is create a new folder in Windows that will hold your files. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're going to start up PowerShell. Okay, so let me move PowerShell over here so you can see that. And what I'm going to do is I want to go into this folder I've created at C: called CSCI 109. And you're going to use this in every lab, but you can create it in this lab, or if you've already created it, then it's there. But we're going to make another folder called lab02 underscore files. And that's where you're going to save your screenshot. And that's where you'll copy back your source code from Linux. And then the two files will be in this little folder where you can actually upload them to Brightspace. So I'm in PowerShell, which is Windows. So I'm going to go back, and then go into my CSCI 109 directory. So I type CS, hit tab for autocomplete. And now I'm in here and I take a look at what's in here. And these files are accumulating as we go. And so now what I'm going to do is make a directory called lab02 files. So I go mkdir 02 underscore files. And you got to have a space in there, of course. Lab02 files. And now I look at it and it's like, oh, lab02 files. Okay, that's good. And if I wanted to verify that that was actually true, I could look at Windows Explorer here. And I noticed that in my Windows CSCI 109, I have my lab2 files. Okay. All right, so life is good. And now what I can do is, let's go to the next step. I want to SSH into the CSCI server. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is in this PowerShell, I'm going to SSH over. And remember, the command is SSH and then your net ID and then at csci109.cs.montana.edu. But that's going to be on your command history. So I'm going to up arrow until I find it. So you notice down here, I've found it and I hit return. And now you type your password. And now I'm in, and I say, okay, just to check that I'm in, let's do clear. Who am I? Okay, that's my net ID, host name. Okay, csci109.cs, good, good, good. And then I'm gonna do present working directory. And that's where I'm at. I'm in my home address, or I'm in my home folder, okay? All right, so let's see what the next step is. Create a new folder for today. So it wants me to create one called lab02 underscore hello underscore world. So I'm in Linux, so I'm gonna do an LL to check out what's in here. And it's like, okay, There's my folders I'm kind of cruising along or making as I go. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to go mkdir and then space, and I'm going to go lab02 underscore hello world. And it's like, okay, so I take a LL. Okay, nice. And now let's go into it. So I'm going to go into lab O2 and I'm going to hit tab. That takes me into autocomplete mode. Take a look at where I'm at. Hello world, life is good. All right, so now what we're going to do is let's create a program file called hello underscore world.c, and we're going to type in our code here, and this is what we're going to type. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just a little bit so you can kind of see it on the left, and then I'll type it on the right, which it ain't going to take that long. Let's see, let me move that right there so you can see it. Then I'm going to type it, okay? Now, no real copy and paste between Windows and Linux, but not a big deal. So I'm going to go vim hello underscore world.c. Don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just typing exactly what's in there. So I'm in Vim. I'm in normal mode. To get into insert, I'm going to hit I. I'm now in insert mode, and I'm going to go ahead and enter a / and then a bunch of these asterisks. This is actually a comment. It's a block comment that we'll learn about. But what I want you to do is put your name so we know who's doing this. CSCI 109, the class. Then let's do lab number 2, the Linux programming, programming environment. And you want to make these nice for every one of your graded deliverables. And then the date, like May, I don't even know, 2023. And then purpose is always good. So this program will print, and then hello world. My name is Brock. Lemires. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to clean this up, make it nice and pretty. And this is just a comment header. Okay. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to say pound include stdio.h. This brings in a header file called standard.io, and that allows me to print to the screen. We'll learn about that as we go. And now I'm going to do this. Int main void, and then open curly. Come down here, and what that does is this is my main program function. Don't even know what this is yet, but now I'm going to do printf and type hello world. My name is Brock Lemires, bang. And then I do /n, close it up, and now I do return 0, and then do close curly. That is my program. That is a C program. You can kind of tell what it's going to do, but you don't need to know right now. But what I need to do for sure is save this thing. So now I'm going to hit escape to go into normal mode, and I'm going to do : to get into command mode, and then W to save it. I now have saved it. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile this. So I'm going to put this up here, and let me move this just a little bit up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring another PowerShell in, because I always want to have one editor or one shell for my code and another one to compile. So it is a little annoying because you have to log in each time, but you get faster and faster. So now I'm going to change into my CSCI 109 directory. So I'm going to go cd back, and then CS 109, and I did that with a tab to autocomplete. Now I'm going to SSH over. Luckily, it was already on my command history. Might have missed that one. No, I got it. Now I'm in Linux, so I go host name, and I see, okay, I'm on there. Take a look at where I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to go into Lab 02, and I'm going to hit tab right now to autocomplete. Take a look what's in here, and there's my buddy, hello world. Now, in order to compile this and run it, what I'm going to do is let me move this over and see what the lab has. So open up a second shell. Good. Compile your program. So now I'm going to compile this. And what we're going to do is type gcc hello world.c. That's my source code. And then I'm going to do -o, meaning direct the executable output into a file name hello_world. No extension. Okay, so in Linux, executables don't have extensions, or at least they can operate without extensions. And when I do this, life is good. Now let's do it again and put our warnings all on there just to make sure, and everything's good. If I take a look at what's in here, I now have this executable, and it's like, okay, life is good. If I want to run that, I need to look right here, Sunny Holland. That's tells Linux that you're going to execute in this current directory, and you do hello world. And if I run this, boom, hello world. My name is Brock Lemires. Holy smokes, I did it. Life is so good. I can't believe it. If I want to clean that up a little bit, I can do clear to clear my screen, then run it again. Notice I'm doing up arrow to get through my command history. That makes things go much faster. Boom, this is awesome. All right, so let me do that. So there's my output of my file. Okay, so I look at this, I executed it, I'm so good. Now I'm gonna take a screenshot of my results. So what is a screenshot? What I do is in Windows, there's a bunch of different tools. I just use snipping. So I just type snip in the search and the snipping tool comes up. All I'm gonna do is say mode. I usually do like rectangular snip, new. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab the whole screen. Okay. And that's the proof that this worked. Okay. Now I'm going to save this. And it's like, where would you like to save this? Well, I'm going to save this in that C folder that I created, C109 lab 02. And I'm going to call it exactly what the handout wanted. Brock Lemire's underscore lab 02.jpg. Okay. Before I hit save on that, I'm going to scroll back up in this document and make sure I named it right. Actually, it's already in here. So take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Brock Lemire's lab 2. Okay, so this one happened to be lab 2. Okay, I saved it. Life is good. All right, so I'm like, okay, where did that actually go in there? It's like go into lab 2. There it is. That's my screenshot. So I got one of the two deliverables. Okay, now I'm ready to copy my file, my source code back into Windows. So what I'm going to do is I can close snip. I'm done with that. And now here is my second shell. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of Windows or Linux, and now I'm out of Linux. So if I do host name, it's like, okay, that's my Windows machine, and I say, who am I? I'm still the same net ID. Present working directory, I'm in CSCI 109. So I know I'm back on Windows. So now here's what I'm going to do to copy this file over. Okay. So I'm going to say this SCP. All right. And I give you the command right here. Let's see. So I'm going to say SCP and then netid K91H784 and then at CSCI 109.cs.montana.edu : The colon puts me into my home directory. At this point, you got to type in the directory names exactly. So you're going to say lab 02 underscore hello underscore world / hello underscore world.c. That's the path and the name of the file. It's important. It'll make your life a lot easier if you use the naming conventions that I give you. So when I say name the source code hello underscore world all lowercase, do it, because then the handouts make a lot more sense. If you start capitalizing stuff and naming it your own, naming conventions, it just gets harder and harder to help you. And so just do it the way that I'm telling you. The next argument though is I need to tell it where to copy it. So I'm just going to put space and I'm going to go dot. That dot says, put this in the location that I'm at, which is I'm already in this shell. This PowerShell is in CSCI 109 lab 2 on Windows. So if I do this command, I should see it pop up in Windows Explorer right here. Okay. So I'm going to hit return. It's going to ask me for my password. And let's see if it went. So it looks like something happened. Okay. So it copied 100%, 77.9, hello world. And of course it put me in, it put it in CSCI 109 right here, not in my lab 02 files. Okay. So that wasn't where I wanted it. So let me delete that. I'm going to go delete. And now let me do this. I'm in Windows. I want to change my directory to lab 02. Okay. Now I'm in the right directory. All I need to do now is up arrow again, and it'll put it where I'm at. So now let me go into lab 2 up here and let's see if it'll pop up. So I hit return, and lo and behold, it copies it over, and there it is. Okay, that is it. So now in a regular lab, which is what you're doing, now what's going to happen is you are going to upload your deliverables to the assignment folder in Brightspace, okay? And sometimes I have little typos in here like like the file names. I'm not going to ding you. Like I said, Brockliners underscore lab 02 and lab 02. And then at some places I had lab 2. I'll clean up those little errors as we go. Don't worry. I'm not going to take off points if you mess it up. Just try to get as close as you can. But that is it. You have now done lab 2. And that is the process we're going to use on every single lab. The only difference is that you will do more and more complicated C programs as you actually learn how to code in C. All right. That's it. Nice job.